Amazing, beautiful people, how you doing? Welcome back to another Warhammer reaction video. So, all of you, literally all of you, by the way, hold on, let me just, all of you, asked me to react to the Warhammer timeline after we finished the introduction to all of the factions. So, we've done all of the alien, non-human, demon, whatever the hell factions you want to call those ones. We've done all the human ones. If you want to call them humans, they don't really seem human to me. But anyway, we've done all the factions. We did the two big videos. It's like 2 hours worth of Warhammer content, and all of you asked me to check out the What is Warhammer 40k Timeline of Warhammer 40k. So this is another Bricky video. Link to the video is in the description. I think there's one more video you guys have been screaming at me as well. I can't remember which one it was, but we'll do that one after this one. And as this is only 30 minutes, we'll do this one in one big video for you guys here today. Either way, this whole universe is crazy. It's awesome, and Bricky does such a great job at just lining everything out for the newbies like me. So let's jump into this. Press that like button, press that subscribe button, please, to support this channel. And let's jump into my first time of reaction to the amazing Bricky Timeline of Warhammer 40k.
Empire of man, a backwards carcass of an empire comprised of many devoted forces, gigantic robot knights, religious machine cultists, and incredibly heavily armored women, most likely with sweltering abs. And one must know what those abs taste like.
Now, this is clearly a sponsorship, right? Like, clearly a fucking sponsorship. I am gonna say, I'm leaving it in. I'm leaving that bit in. I'm gonna skip the rest. Obviously, it's a sponsorship. If you want to see the rest of the sponsorship, go to the original video. But fuck me, that's such a good transition. Shout out Bricky, man. Well done. Fucking insane. What do they taste like?
The age of knowledge and enlightenment has ended.
Oh, damn.
The age of darkness has begun.
Sounds like what happened when the Romans left England.
Roughly 60 million years ago, there existed aliens. And these aliens lived short, painful lives. They belonged to radiation-stricken worlds and often died of various cancers before the age of 30. These aliens, the Necron tier, looked up to the stars and found extreme beings of real power, beings with the ability to create life, the old ones of the galaxy. They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments.
60 million years ago, aliens, not well. Aliens dying, aliens go, please help us. And the old ones, basically gods, were like, question mark? Okay. Also, Bricky's looking good, man.
They asked these old ones for help. Please cure us of our ailments. To which the old ones said, piss off. So the Necron tier gathered together and did the sensible thing. They declared war upon these old beings and were promptly beaten into the dirt back to their short, painful lives. In the world of Warhammer, there is a hell. This hell is not like you and I know it. It's more of an afterlife, a place where dead souls end up. This place...
Bricky. In the world of Warhammer, there's a hell. But the hell is not like you know it. See, that hell is an afterlife where souls end up. Wait, what do you mean that's exactly like hell as you know it? You're telling me the hell that you know is a place that people go when they die? You're crazy.
This has many names: the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium, and the Ether. But mostly, we just call it the Warp. While you and I know of hell as a place of horrors and punishment, the Warp isn't really that. Not in the beginning. It's energy, but the kind of energy formed from thought and soul, psychic energy, where the dead souls of people end up in a place that is impossible to understand. No laws of reality exist. Like, time is merely a suggestion, and it is not something that can be braved easily. The Warp...
God damn, man, I've really got to watch Event Horizon again. It's crazy how similar the Warp is to the lore in Event Horizon. If you haven't seen Event Horizon, watch it. It's terrifying, disgusting, and fucked up, but it's amazing.
Would be like sailing the ocean in a pirate movie. To jump from your ship would be certain death. To stay in the sea for too long on your boat could drive a man mad. And there are many dangerous things lurking in those depths. Yet the sea is not evil. It simply is.
Water.
Mostly. There are more malevolent beings in those waters, areas that you do not sail towards. This would be known as the realm of chaos. The realm of chaos exists in the warp as a special area led by 3 chaos gods.
This is more like there's not really a timeline. It's not so much a timeline video as it's just a lore explaining video, which I'm all for. But I guess the video itself is titled What is Warhammer, so I'm guessing that's the whole point in this one as well. I like the comparison to the ocean. I feel like that's kind of good. The ocean's not evil, but it takes people's lives. It has storms. It has, you know, Cthulhu's down there and shit, you know? It's not, the ocean itself's not necessarily evil, but... question mark?
Thorn, the god of combat, murder, and slaughter, with a pile of skulls taken in his name. Tzeentch, god of change, mystery, and deceit, a confusing paradox of lies, schemes, and sorceries. And
Tzeentch looks the most
god
like
of rot, pestilence, and Genshin impact. All things rot in the end. And Grandfather Nurgle is waiting for you with open arms. These gods ruled their respective realm in the warp, sending their many followers against each other in the great game to be the most powerful of all the gods. So the warp exists. Hell is real, parallel to our galaxy, with the realm of chaos and its gods fighting for control. But there are also gods of real space, gods of the normal world too. They're called G.O.T, and they eat stars.
Do you think God stays in heaven because he too lives in fear of what he's created?
These...
Right. Pop quiz. What movie is that Steve Buscemi? Yes, that's Steve Buscemi quote from. Bum, 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 bum. Come on, what movie? Bum, 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 bum. That's right, Spy Kids 2. Well done.
Star gods saw the plight of our poor Necron tier and how the old ones cast them aside and said, you know what? You guys want immortality? Oh, we will make it happen. We are the gods of the tangible, of real space. We can give you a cure.
Nice.
So then they ate all their souls.
That's not so nice. That's
turned them into robotic automaton, feasting on their souls and leaving a hollow shell of an intelligence left that is technically immortal, with the power of an entire species.
So these motherfuckers got monkeys pawed. Shit, man. You always read the fine print on a monkey's paw.
Souls, they turned their new robotic slaves on the old ones and hunted them to extinction. The Necron tier, now the soulless, undying Necrons, got their wish at the price of their souls. But we can count the number of kind gods on an amputated hand. With time, the selfish star gods turned on each other, fighting one another for more chances at glory and power. With this, the leader of the Necrons, Zarek, the Silent King, the man who doomed his species when he accepted this deal, waited, planned, bide his time until he seized the perfect moment and turned his legions of undead citizens against the star gods. Gods cannot be killed, but they can be broken. So Zarek broke the star gods into thousands of pieces and locked them away in vaults, taking their free will away as they did to them, and sealed them away as basically Pokemon to be used as weapons in the future.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's Pikachu!
It's the Void Dragon.
Zarek then, with his perfect memory, exiled himself for his sins, flying out to the darkness between galaxies to atone for what he had done. This entire situation, the genocide of the old...
Random questions. Is the Warhammer lore, like, officially... Is that like an official dude writes all this shit? What I'm trying to basically ask is it possible for, like, these people to come back in, like, the Warhammer world? And, like, and all the, like, the players and fans of Warhammer are like, shit, did you read these guys are back. Like, is that possible? And if so, who makes that decision?
Old Ones and the rebellion of Zarek will go down in history as the War in Heaven. It is the most brutal war the galaxy has ever seen and ever will see. This was a conflict that took an entire galaxy-spanning species and pitted them against gods that ate stars. The Necrons, rather crippled from, you know, the War in Heaven, decide to go to sleep in gigantic tomb worlds on very...
It's actually insane when you think about the fact that they won. Like, they went to war against gods who eat stars. Eat stars. A fucking star! And won.
Planets until the upstart species of the galaxy died out. And so turns out, when you have a war that lasts tens, hundreds of thousands of years and involves the genociding of multiple species, the Old Ones of the galaxy, and the consumption of souls from an entire race, the warp gets a little wacky. You know, if you had a kiddie pool and it was nice and calm, Khorne is over there splashing about, so you don't really go in that direction. Nurgle has explosive diarrhea, so you don't really go in that direction either. But you can still kind of get in the pool. The pool's still fine. Turns out...
I don't know why you'd want to, though. I don't know why I'd look at a pool and go, that guy's shitting themselves to death, and that person, I don't even know what they're doing. I'm gonna get in, this looks nice.
When you add a couple trillion souls to that kiddie pool, it'll make the waves a little more turbulent. And turns out a lot of them like to pick a side, Nurgle, Tzeentch, or Khorne. So the
random question, where's that clip from with the water rushing in there? Like, terrifying.
Once calmer warp, the once relaxing kiddie pool has now been bloated. A million years of war will certainly make Khorne, god of murder and slaughter, more powerful. A million years of war will probably make Tzeentch, god of deception and change, a little more powerful. And good God, a million years of war will make Nurgle, god of decay, oh, just the tiniest bit more powerful. Now, entering that kiddie pool is no longer fun, it's dangerous. The warp is now a problem. Hell is resembling hell a lot closer to what we imagined it originally.
Oh, so this wasn't explained in the sort of factions explanation video. It was the corruption of the warp almost, where you have these three gods, but they kind of just keep to themselves, do their own thing, and generally speaking, you could like travel around the warp and not run into death and chaos. Like, it's a big area, but it's not hell. It's just that it's literally just like he said, the ocean. You know, you could swim through the ocean. You might be fine. You might not be fine. You know, same thing as the warp at that point. However, if you fill the ocean up with fucking great white sharks and then try swimming through it, probably gonna get
Sea of Souls and the realm of chaos are now intertwined. So who else to brave the galaxy than a species that won't need to deal with that? The Eldar are space elves. They have a lot of the traits that you probably think of when you think of elves. Tall, slender, pointy ears, bit more androgynous looking, no matter what DeviantArt will tell you, and a bit stronger on the emotional side. The Old Ones, as I mentioned, could create life. And when they were getting, you know, absolutely bodied by the C'tan and the Necrons, they made some new races to try to help them. One of them was the Eldar. It didn't save them, but they're here now anyway. Oh, and also the Orcs, but they're busy right now. The Eldar are
so just another Sunday for the Orcs, it seems.
Particularly psychically powerful race. So they were really adept at being able to handle the new turbulent warp of chaos and good at killing Necrons, hence why they went to sleep. Being psychically gifted is basically like being a wizard, but you get your wizard powers from hell. This is called being a psyker. And basically, if you want to do cool wizard shit, like lightning from your hands or reading someone's mind, you can do that, but you siphon the energy to do that from the warp. Luckily, the Eldar are very good at handling this without too many negative effects because, you know, summoning power from the Sea of Souls with the new Chaos friends can be a bit of an issue. But Eldar are pretty good at it.
Are the games good? Like, would I like the games? Maybe I should play the fucking games. I'd be well up for playing them if they're like actually like pretty good games. Maybe I would like. I really would as well. And are there any more cinematics, or have I done them all? Like, is it all Bricky's videos now, or are there other like other ones? Let me know in the comment section. Remember, I'm very new to all of this.
At it. And you see what's really cool
Where are all
and
those
also
clips
awful
from?
about Warhammer is that most developed species travel long, faster than light distances by going through that warp. They create a tear in reality to...
This is another thing I've always wondered about. When they do the warp travel, they have to travel through the warp to get there, right? Did the ships not just get destroyed when they go into the warp? You know, like they're like, all right, so we need to get to Starbucks, so we're gonna travel through the warp. Blah, blah, blah. Just doesn't come out the other side.
Unreality and move through it. Faster than light travel? Cringe. We go through hell itself to deliver your packages. For those of you who play Minecraft, you know how the nether is like a pocket dimension? So moving 10 spaces in the nether is actually moving something like 1,000 in the real world. That's basically what warp travel is.
Cool,
just
by the way.
much like in the nether, there are a lot of things that want to kill you. The Eldar found a way to do so in between realities. Not regular reality, not the warp, something else. A purgatory of sorts. A fabricated psychic
this one
realm
sounds
that allowed
way
them to
nicer.
travel without fearing the negative effects of the warp. The Eldar were the perfect fit for the new galaxy, and they took it with open arms and pointy ears. The empire of the Eldar spread everywhere, and it spread all the way until now, the 21st century. That's right, while you were watching NPC streams on TikTok, the space elves were ruling the galaxy, and they did so for quite a long period of time. The 21st century came.
Man, we know how to be friends. Do you know why that's funnier? It's because before this video, I was watching a TikTok, which I love, by the way. I can't remember the channel that uploaded it. No, I'm saying I love this particular TikTok. It was a female TikToker who was telling the story about a female group chat talking about going out for dinner, and it's fucking awesome. I was so invested in this story, but like there were so complications to it, and being married, I've seen these complications. Like my wife will talk about her friends sometimes. I'm not going to get her in any trouble for this because I'm going to leave everything vague. But she'll talk about her friends sometimes when trying to arrange like dates or sort things out or how to talk to people. And I'll say like, why don't you just say this? And she's like, because you can't say that. I'm like, what do you mean you can't say that? She's like, you can't say that. She's like, you can't say things like that. You have to be diplomatic. You have to be nice. That will upset them. And it's like, I have to say things like this. And then I was like, it's easy being a dude and having like a guy friendship. And I imagine some girls have these kind of friendships too. And they're the best kind. But it's just like my best friends, I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Fuck you. Fuck you. You son of a bitch. Fuck you. I'll see you tonight. Like, there you go.
And went. Humanity grew and grew all under the nose of their elf overlords. At this time, humans advanced. Your classic sci-fi style
like
way. We began to expand, colonize our solar system.
That kind of like that Mars game that Sips played with the giant sandworm. Looked really cool. What's the name of that game? Can't actually remember. But yeah. Nice. Humanity is all chill.
Terraformed our planets, created new and more powerful machines and starships. The age of Terra, also known as Earth, but we call it Terra here, was here. Nice. And existed between the 21st century all the way until the 15th millennia. Not much is known about this time, not much needs to be known. Humanity grew up, sought the stars. It's classic. Then came the years between 15,000 and 25,000, the age of technology, or to some, the dark age of technology. This is when humanity reached a new apex of technological understanding. When you think of sci-fi, there's a lot of things you can think of. Star Trek, maybe Star Wars style. You can go cyberpunk dystopian.
Random thing. So is this humanity as we know it? So the Eldar were off somewhere else, and they were doing shit somewhere else. Earth, on the other hand, was just chilling and enjoying life, and this is the Earth story. Or did the Eldar have influence on Earth?
The age of technology was deep sci-fi, like a scientific prowess that fringed on magic. This is also when the first ever psychers began showing up in humanity. Individuals with the genetic mutation to be able to access the warp, and then because of that, travel through it. Humanity was no longer constricted to their early ways of travel. With warp travel, they could go anywhere in the galaxy. They equipped ships with gigantic AI machines, with everything you would ever need to know about mankind, and sent them out on colony ships to expand their influence across the galaxy. This was truly the golden age of humanity, and with every golden age, there is a fall. While the new human upstarts of the galaxy were reaching new levels of technology and prowess, the Eldar were engaging in
Debauchery!
debauchery.
I feel like I really need to, I know that's from Berserk, right? I recognize the main guy. I feel like I really need to either read Berserk or watch Berserk. Debauchery.
Eldar were engaging in
Debauchery!
debauchery.
I guess this also answers my question where I said, like, what the hell are the Eldar doing? Now we know.
Debauchery! What happens when a species has everything? You can produce unlimited food out of nothing. Your need for farmers and workers, gone. You have dominated the stars and have created a fast travel system that doesn't rely on the dangers of the warp. You have nothing else to do. You have no struggles, no problems, and feel as if there is nowhere else to go. Well, you begin to experiment. The Eldar started harmless enough. You know, you take a serious interest in your species' culture, your arts, paintings, poems, plays. These are Eldar, elves, remember? Their emotions are heightened, more powerful than us humans. So your plays get louder. They start to push on the limits of your hearing ability. Your music becomes different, more deranged. It pushes the boundaries of what is art. The visual spectacle of art becomes more bizarre, more delusional, more eccentric. And let's not forget a very important sense. Touch. Pornography is one thing. I'm a virgin. Brothels is another. What if they all mixed? What if your brothels were part of your art and music? And what if those became more deranged? The boundaries of debauchery were not just met, but shattered. Next thing you know, murder is commonplace and often mixed with the art, music, and sex. Pain is a common byproduct of entertainment. Whatever sensation you can have must be increased, must be enhanced, must be taken to the limits. The Eldar Empire slipped into a nightmarish realm of debauchery and excess, with the worst of it taking place in a city in the Webway, a black market for these kinds of heinous acts known as Kamara. Some Eldar...
Did none of the Eldar just not want to do this? Well, some of the Eldar like, yo, bro, chill. Where are you going tonight? Where am I going tonight? Let me write down a little reminder, actually. This is not where I'm going tonight. This is just something that's been bugging me. I want to check out that Sip Sandworm video now, so I'm going to write that down. Yeah, where are you going tonight, bro? Where are you going? I'm going down to the Chop Off Your Penis brothel down the street, man. I love it. It's great. Obviously, this is my first time going, because you can only go once. You want to come? No! No, I don't want to fucking come.
Saw the writing on the wall, saw what was happening to their species.
Oh, yes, I do. I do want to come, which is exactly why I'm not going with you. Either answer is an acceptable answer.
And how far they had slipped. So they boarded continent-sized starships called craft worlds and left their empire, seeking a more enlightened, calmer existence among their peers. Some, those in Kamara, pushed it to even greater heights, relishing the pain and torment they inflicted on those around them. All during this, the warp, the yin to the yang of the world, was fed by these emotions, by the psychic power of the Eldar, by the souls taken in these depraved acts on a galactic scale. And just like that, Eldar ended. Slanesh, the fourth chaos god, was birthed into existence and consumed the souls of...
I'm not going to rewind it, but Celestia's stomach, I'll rewind it for me. What the fuck? Go look back at that.
90% of the Eldar population. Those that fled were spared the worst of it, and those in the Webway and Kamara were able to stave off the pull of Slaanesh so long as they continued to commit horrid acts of torture and violence. But for the majority of the Eldar, their empire died with Slaanesh's birth. The new fourth Chaos God, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable excess of pleasure, pain, hedonism, and perfection, had been born. With the fall of the Eldar Empire came the ruin of humanity. Slaanesh's birth sent storms in the warp across the galaxy, making travel between star systems impossible. Coupled with a huge classic AI rebellion, as a staple in these sci-fi settings, humanity began to suffer the age of strife. Now, planets that relied on intergalactic travel were completely cut off. Long-range messages normally sent through the warp were snuffed out. If you were a planet that was great at mining stuff but couldn't get food, well, you know that movie about the rugby players in the mountains? Oh, and because of these insane warp storms and fluctuations, psychers began to appear among the human population a bit more often. Now, this initially had them hunted down as witches, because that's pretty common in this setting, but some deemed it right to protect them. Unfortunately for those people, psychers, because they open a gateway to the warp, don't really know how to use their powers well, and they kinda attract demons, who then force their way through the psyker as a conduit of sorts and begin to slaughter the population of your planet. The age of—
Bro, what the the minds behind Warhammer are some twisted motherfuckers. You're telling me. So, Matt, like, let me just break this down into like the dumbest terms ever. Humanity, chill, enjoying life, super travel-y, like Star Trek style, galaxy, planets, woohoo, we're loving it, look at our technology, we're amazing, we figured out this new technology, we can travel through this place called the Warp, it's fairly chill, we travel through there, boom, we come the other side, everything's great, hunky-dory, let's make all these planets nice, right? Meanwhile, Eldar, horny weirdos, banging and killing everything. A group of the Eldar, whoop, we'll call them not horny weirdos. The not horny weirdos, fuck you guys, we're out of here. Off they go, they do their own thing, they fly over there. Meanwhile, these guys get so damn horny, they create a god, boom, with their horniness. A god with genitalia in their stomach, for some reason. The god of horniness then kills all the Eldar, bleh, apart from the ones that fucked off earlier. And I think there's another that's in, like, the warp area. So they're still alive. The rest of them are gone, like 95% of the population. And the good guys, goodish, who flew away, they're fine too. So those are the only two parts. You've either got super horny Eldar, or ones who are fine. And there you go. Now you got god of horny. God of horny makes the warp so damn crazy, everything gets nuts. All the Eldar that are left on the horny side get even more horny, and the Eldar that were good, we don't even know what they're doing. And then meanwhile, humanity at this point, while all this is going on, suddenly is like, huh, that's weird, all our phones are being weird and stuff. Oh, okay, we've lost technology, and we can't use the warp. What the hell's going on here? Well, that's not good. What about all those planets that rely on us? And humanity's just kind of like wondering what's going on. Then because of the warp, psychers become more common. All these planets that are cut off from Earth turn into like cannibalism and nutcase planets because they have no food, no resources, or anything like that. The ones that don't, anyway, that are cut off from warp travel, are just stranded now. So they've erupted into chaos. Not only that, but the psychers can summon demons which take over these planets as well. Welcome to Warhammer.
Strife was a catastrophic period of time for humanity and set back their progress tenfold over the not one, not two, but 5,000 year period. During this time, the age of humanity that we know began to form. Worlds equipped with large mechs for agriculture began to equip them with weapons to defend from alien and demonic invaders. Over 5,000
kind of like that Love, Death, and Robots episode. Have you guys seen that one?
years, this became a custom and tradition, dubbing them as night worlds, a feudal society of honor-bound knights in gigantic robots that uphold the chivalric code to defend their worlds and honor. A group of individuals on Mars, after radioactively bombing their planet to become inhospitable to human life, ran their entire lives underground on the few life support systems keeping them alive. Those technicians who could work on the machines and keep them operational were revered, and over 5,000 years went from skilled members of society to full-blown priests. The cult Mechanicus, or tech priests of Mars, formed in the ashes of the Red Planet with a religious fervor and doctrine on the cult of the machine god. And on Earth, or Terra, techno-barbarian tribes waged war across the planet in a Mad Max style of blood and gore. Until finally, a mysterious man who lived in the shadows of Terra for millennia finally revealed himself to the populace. His name was the Emperor. He deemed—
God, that's his name? Bro, so bro's parents called him the Emperor? Shit, they really had high expectations of that shit.
himself the Emperor of mankind. Where did he come
First name
from?
D, second name.
I don't know. Why is he 10 feet tall and the most powerful psyker of all of mankind? I don't know. Why is he basically immortal? I don't know. Where'd Cotton Eye Joe go? Who knows? But he's here, and he isn't happy with all of you ripping up Terra. So he began the Unification Wars, where he and a very early version of the famous Space Marines, the Thunder Warriors, reunited Terra under a single banner. With blood. Then, after taking over Earth, he reunited the Thunder Warriors into the fucking dirt. This is where we get the Imperium of Man. Also
He reunited the Thunder. He killed the Thunder Warriors. Is that what they just said? Did he what?
known as the Imperium. The new faction headed by the Emperor of Mankind with a treaty signed with the Cult Mechanicus on Mars to spread out and reunite humanity after the catastrophic Age of Strife. But first, the Emperor is going to need some smaller versions of himself. 20 of them. 18 of them, I meant. Gene-crafted
Why did I don't get the gun? Didn't he make that joke last time? Is there a reason he always says it like that?
sons of the strongest human to ever live. All of them possess unparalleled strategic power, intelligence, formidable strength and size, a real powerful force to unite humanity and stop the chaos of the current galaxy. Speaking of chaos, you ever seen that image of that guy? It's like throwing the baby like a basketball. It's about what happened. The Chaos Gods intervened and grabbed the 18 Primarch gestation pods and yeeted them across the galaxy at a whim, everywhere they could possibly go. A galactic game of keep away. So the Emperor had to get them back. So begins the Great Crusade. A crusade across the stars to reunite not just humanity, but the Emperor with his fallen sons. The first to be found was Horus. One of the strongest and most noble sons. The Emperor carried with him a legion of newly crafted warriors with genetic material made from their Primarch father. These are the newly made Space Marines. For Horus, his were the Luna Wolves. And as the Emperor continued on his great crusade, he found more and more of his sons, reuniting them with their individual Space Marine legions. Leman Russ, the cunning hunter with the Space Wolves. Rogel Dorm, the Phalanx with the Imperial Fists. Angron, the Barbarian, the very angry with his World Eaters. Fulgrim.
I'm gonna be honest, World Eaters is a badass name. Like, what would you go for? Space Wolves? World Eaters? I feel like I'd go for World Eaters just based on the name.
Perfect with his Emperor's children. And Jagatai Khan, the Swift, the Stoic, and his white scars. Those were just some of the 18. And one by one, his lost Primarch sons were returned to him, and their Space Marine legions returned to them. The Great Crusade saw humanity once again reconquer the stars, returning worlds of humanity back to the Imperium and killing any and all who stood against their noble crusade. But in the years of the 31st millennia, treachery would break this all apart.
Men, we don't know what we did.
Horus, the Emperor's most beloved and favored sons, named War Master for the Crusade, succumbed to the power of chaos and daddy issues. All because of that bastard Erebus. Yo, fuck Erebus. Slowly, Horus would become corrupted, turning the Emperor's sons against him. This begins the most pivotal moment in our story, and the one that has like 50 books written about it, the Horus heresy. 9 of the 18 Primarchs turned against the Emperor, and the following years were a bloody battle for the throne of Terra. The Emperor originally was working on a special webway project, just like the Eldar, to make faster-than-light travel significantly easier and safer. Really improve humanity to allow them to conquer the stars without the risk of the warp. Well, this
kind of interesting when you think that if that's what the Emperor was originally working on, and then all of a sudden the warp is pushing out influence and corrupting his sons, kind of sounds suspiciously timed, don't you think?
Big red idiot named Magnus kind of blew a hole into that. literally and figuratively. So Big E over there is stuck on a gigantic golden throne, holding back the oncoming rush of demons and powering the Astronomicon, basically a big North Star for people who are sailing in the warp to help them navigate. The Horus heresy saw many loyalist and traitor legions pitted against each other in a bloody war until it reached Terra itself. Horus, unable to break through the lines and with time running out, made a gambit and opened his ship up to be boarded. The Emperor took this challenge, quickly allowing someone else to take control of the throne as he teleported his way onto Horus's flagship, the Vengeful Spirit. The Emperor, unable to truly kill his most beloved son, changed his mind right quick when Horus strangled the life out of his other son, Sanguinius.
Oh no!
I'm sure you've seen this image at some point. The Emperor then said,
I haven't. Let me rewind.
Oh no!
I'm sure you
That's a badass looking image. Get your hand
seen
up,
the-
dude. There we go. Okay, cool. Right. What are we looking at here? So is that the other son? And that's Horus. Man, Horus looks so fucked. By the way, like what? That's your kid, bro.
image at some point. The Emperor then said,
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
and proceeded to psychically blast Horus into complete oblivion, killing not only his body, but also his soul. Horribly wounded from this duel, the Emperor is returned to the Golden Throne in order to keep the demons at bay and power the Astronomicon, because without it, humanity would be flying blind. There he sits, slowly dying from his wounds and the strain of powering the Golden Throne. The only thing keeping him alive is feeding upon the souls of 1,000 Psykers every single day. This was 10,000 years ago. We are now in the 41st millennium, modern day. Warhammer 40,000. The Emperor remains on his throne. The Imperium is a rotting carcass of an empire.
So, the Emperor's gonna die, right? At some point, surely. What the fuck happens then?
Fascist, xenophobic cult that worships the Emperor as a deity despite him never wanting to be seen as a god. Over the span of 1 million worlds, the ecclesiarchy, the church of the Emperor, is spread throughout. Inquisitors with unparalleled power root out any sign of heresy or lack of devotion to their god Emperor.
It's always terrifying when you can see elements of something so fucked up in today's world. Like, the amount of times you look at something that is future based, like the movies, entertainment, books, or whatever, that you see the future and it makes sense. And you could be like, shit, I could see that. And it kind of fucked up how you could kind of see this, even minus the warp, the idea of humanity becoming this, like, very religious focused, like, colonizing, crazy, like, honestly, if you asked me 20 years ago, I would have said, like, no chance. But it's crazy how the last 20 years have showcased a significant lack of empathy in humanity, where there's a lot of dark announcements and sad announcements, and people just, like, imagine a few years ago when they were, like, people talking about death and struggles in the world. You would never get people joking about it. But now, nearly every single time, that's the normal response, is to make a joke out of someone suffering. So what I'm basically trying to say is empathy, you know, the lack of it in these days, and leads to shit like this.
The other half of the traitor legions move about as Chaos Space Marines, raiding and pillaging the Imperium, while the loyalist half does their best to keep the Empire alive. All throughout this, they must endure Orc invasions, Eldar trickery, the reawakening of the Necron race, and the Great Devourer, the newest tyrannid threat from the darkness between galaxies that has arrived to feast on their worlds.
Huh? Who the hell's the Great Devourer?
The theme of Warhammer 40,000
Who the fuck is that?
Is regression and intolerance. Every major faction in Warhammer has had an empire that spanned the galaxy only to be crushed back to a hollow shell of what they once were due to their own failings. Culture, the arts, personal freedom, religious tolerance,
so
the
much
simple
like the Lord of the Rings
possibility that
Gollum
alien
place.
life might not want to kill us is considered heretical and is often met with a pistol to the head. There is no time for these things. All there is time for is worship of the God Emperor and a million wars to be fought. To be a human in the 41st millennia is 99% of the time to live a horrible existence, to be one of trillions of other humans across a million worlds throughout the galaxy. A galaxy where AI is outlawed, so humans are repurposed and lobotomized to become slaves. A place.
Is there not a chill planet? Like, like, what's the point? Fuck me. Fuck, like, Jesus. What is the point in living in this world, man? Like, imagine just, I get a Seikai. Oh my God, I'm reborn. What universe is this? The Warhammer universe. I'm jumping off a bridge.
Place where lack of devotion is met with
I don't
death.
care.
And if you even have devotion, there is a good chance the threats to the galaxy, chaos, and aliens will kill you anyway. Warhammer is a world where you revel in being bad. There are protagonists, there are antagonists, but every faction is some shade of evil. Because playing the bad guys is always more fun. And my friend, you have a selection. So pick up that las gun soldier. You and the other 3 million men and women in this single deployment on this single world in this single battle will now show them the might of the God Emperor. That weapon in your hands has killed 99% of the alien populations in this galaxy. Unfortunately for you, soldier, you're fighting the final 1%. May the Emperor be with us. Glory to the first man to die, for in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Well, shout out Bricky. Wait, what's this?
Thank you, everyone. I hope I have helped teach you about Warhammer. If you are a brand new person and you want to get a bit more about the world, there are multiple books that do a great job at showing off how the entire universe operates. For the most part, Warhammer is a setting, and often stories are told in that setting with a Warhammer coat of paint. Gaunt's Ghosts is Band of Brothers, but Warhammer. It's honestly one of my #1 recommendations for new people. Assassinorum Kingmaker is an assassin novel involving those night worlds. This is Mission Impossible, but Warhammer. Bloodlines is Blade Runner, but Warhammer. And the list goes on and on. If I had to recommend a brand new novel for a first-time Warhammer enjoyer, these are the 4 I would recommend. Horus Rising, Caiaphas Cain, First and Only Gaunt's Ghost, and Infinite and the Divine. They are all fantastic novels, and they will get you acquainted with the world without needing to know too much. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself a Gamer Subs flavor, enjoy the new sweet 6-pack, and if you're curious and you want, you know, just a little lord, you can find him in the description as well on my merchandise store, orchid8.com. There
you go, guys. There you go. If you want to get all that stuff, you want to check out Bricky's extra material, I don't know the word, I'm a bit loopy today, then you can do so. Let me fucking write down some of this stuff. Then you can do so by clicking the link in the description, going over to his channel, watching his video, and all the stuff will be there. So it's funny how at the end of that video it was supposed to be hype, you know. He was like showing all these things, like how hype this is, look how cool this is, look at all these things, and I was just sitting there going, look how fucking terrifying this is, look how terrifying this is, look how terrifying this is. Now I love reading. Currently, I'm rereading the entirety of the Red Rising saga. I finished Lightbringer a month and a half ago or so. So I'm now going back and rereading all of it. I've just finished the first book, and I'm already on the second. And that's what I'm reading at the moment. I would say as a Warhammer fan, if you would, based on what I know, you'd probably love the Red Rising books if you haven't read them. There's a lot of similarities in the sort of... It's like, I could honestly imagine the Red Rising universe becoming Warhammer. That's you, like, if anyone who's read it will know what I mean. It's like I said, a lot of similarities. So yes, what I'm trying to say is I definitely will be reading one of those books. I'm just gonna have to wait. I'll have to pick one. Maybe I'll get all 4. Which one do you think I would like the most? I definitely will read one of them. Obviously, I'm gonna have to start on one of them. So I wonder which one. Which one do you think I would like the most out of those 4 that he recommended? And I'll give one of them a go. And yeah, shout out Bricky because these videos are amazing. They really are, by the way. I didn't know anything about Warhammer. Every now and then I meet someone who's into it, but I always just assumed it was this just like a Dungeons and Dragons style kind of thing. People having these like tabletop figures and playing these games. I didn't realize there was such an excessive lore behind them. I just thought it'd be like, all right, so this is this faction, they can do this. Here's the Dungeons and Dragons style stats and story, and that's what we do here on the board. And that's always what I assumed Warhammer was. I didn't realize it had such an extensive freaking in-depth tale told behind everything. And it is the world and universe of Warhammer that has piqued my curiosity mainly just because it is so cool. It is dark, it is horrible, it is brilliant. And because of that, I will really want to explore more of it, whether it's the cinematics or any kind of content that I can do reaction stuff to in the Warhammer world, I would like to. So please keep the recommendations coming. And then meanwhile, when I get time, I might have to buy and read a couple of these books. I don't know if I'll ever get into the tabletop, mainly because I don't have the time. I don't have the skills to paint and craft them. I don't have any of those kind of skills. It's not something I possess, and I don't have the time to learn how to do any of that, and no one in my house does either. So getting into the tabletop figures, the only way I would do it is by buying them already made, and I wouldn't want to do that because I feel like that takes some of the fun out of it. I honestly, if I had Warhammer figures, I would like to be the one who painted them and crafted them and whatever. Like, I'd like just look at it and go, oh, I did that. And I imagine a lot of you are the same. I imagine a lot of you aren't. But that's how I would personally want to do it, which is why I don't think I ever will. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll just buy one really cool figure. That'd be kind of cool because they do look amazing, like some sort of badass spaceship, and just have it like somewhere. Have like a little Warhammer display shelf, more so than actually like playing with them. But yeah, I guess that's where my reaction ends. Bricky is amazing, loved this, so please go check them out. And yeah, if I missed anything or need to know anything more, let me know in the comment section down below. I don't know why anyone would ever just want to live more than 10 seconds in the Warhammer universe. Are people like forced to breeding? Because why would you even bring a kid into this world? Who knows? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, my friends, you will see me in the next video.